Alright guys, another epic camera comparison. This is iPhone 16 Pro Max and on the other side is Vivo X200 Ultra. Which is better and is bigger means better? We'll find out in this video. Let's do it. Alright guys, another walk around my favorite area, and you already know what to look for the sky, clouds, for the green, the grass, the trees and everything, the shadows. Everything is important until we are testing these devices. And keep in mind, this is 4K 60 FPS video recording. And I will rotate now the camera. Alright, now I'm start running. In that way we'll test the stabilization of these two devices, which is better, 4K 60 FPS recording. And now stop running, and keep in mind this time I won't crop anything from the main camera. Vivo X200 Ultra is recording now using the ultra wide camera, which is the same sensor as the main camera, but I think the quality of the ultra wide is a bit lower because of the lens cover, but you will judge that. And iPhone is recording One X. Of course I will go to 35mm of the Vivo X200 Ultra, which is the main sensor, but by default when you open video recording, ultra wide is opened. Also it is very windy, but this is how we will test the microphones. I will switch the microphones all the time between these two devices so we can test them too. Now let's go for main camera, 35mm on the Vivo. Keep in mind, iPhone is up to that moment is recording only using its main sensor. Alright, now Vivo is 1.5x or 35mm. Do you think is there any color degradation, or it's perfectly fine? Just look at the greenery, which is more true to life, which is yellow, which is red, orange, or any other color. Let's test now the focus. I think it's a little bit faster on the iPhone and a little bit slower for the Vivo, but let me know down in the comments. Now let's rotate the cameras. Right, I'm not sure Vivo can capture me with this 35mm because it's very close to me, but we need to test it somehow. And I'm start running now because this time we are testing the stabilization of the main camera of the Vivo next to the iPhone until we are recording 4K 60 FPS. And which is better, it's important to understand by letting me know down in the comments. It's not very sunny, but it's very cloudy, and this is now look at the sky, look at the clouds, the blue sky, which is more blue. It is very blue, and from what I can see on the viewfinder, the close to reality is Vivo. And keep in mind, until I'm shooting photos, Vivo will be using its Zeiss natural profile for all the images, because I think this is the most true to life colors profile. So keep in mind that, and everything else will be auto. Yes, I know in Pro mode Vivo can record a lot of things, but this everything will be auto. Now I will start now switching the lenses. I will point to that house over there, and most probably on the chimneys. Now 1.5x for the Vivo and 1x for the iPhone. I will go 0.5 or 14mm for Vivo, it's ultra wide camera, and iPhone is 0.5. and iPhone is a little bit wider in that terms because it is 13 millimeters and Vivo is 14, so a little bit wider. Now from here I will go to 1.5x, which is the next sensor for Vivo, and 1x for the iPhone. Just a second, now it's 1x. So next Vivo sensor is 3.7x and the iPhone's is 5x. So I will switch now to 3.7, which is the big deal here for the Vivo. This is the Samsung HP9X sensor, the updated sensor, and this is 5x for the iPhone. And if we start zooming further, for example, these are the telephoto lenses for both devices. Now I will go 10x for Vivo, and on the iPhone I will go again 10x. Let's lowering down the tripod. Now both are 10x, and let's do 20x. It is the maximum until we are recording 4K 60 FPS with Vivo, and iPhone maximum is 15x. So 15x for the iPhone and 20x for the Vivo until we are recording 4K 60 FPS video. So at that moment both devices are at their maximum. Let's go back to the main sensor, which is 1.5 and 1x for the iPhone. Now we are again using the main sensor of the devices. Let's rotate them one more time, and now I will switch to the front cameras of both devices. Let's just point to that sign with the zoom cameras. Yes, and yes, here, which is the most clear from what I can see. When I go to 5x, iPhone directly crush the colors and directly brighten them, but I need to test that on the computer. Vivo is very close to reality. Look at the mountains there. Keep in mind we are using now. Let's go Vivo for 5x. It will be a crop, but it will be very close next to the iPhone. All right, front cameras again, 4K 60 FPS for both devices. Again we are testing the microphones, and look at the sky. Sky is very important. Let me rotate a little bit the cameras. Look at here how the iPhone is crushing the sky, and it needs more time just to realize what's happened on the background, but definitely the sky is crushed on the iPhone until we are recording using the front camera. I will start running now just to test the stabilization of the front cams, which is missing for both devices, but we have an electronic one or software one, and I think enough 4K 60 FPS from the front cams. I think iPhone is crushing the sky with its front cam. Alright, again I'm recording cinematic video or portrait mode for Vivo, and again I should have a nice bokeh blur effect around me, and I should be isolated very well from the background. And which of them is doing a better job, let me know. Again, let's test that bokeh effect. This is 4K 30 FPS video, by the way. Both can record 4K 30 FPS with its portrait mode, but which is doing a better job? Again, you should judge that. And Vivo is using its 35mm lenses or the main sensors for doing that video, and iPhone is using its 1x main sensor. Let me just run a little bit just to test the stabilization. This is not what this cinematic mode is meant to use, but just to test them enough. Hi everyone, again 4K 60 FPS, but this time this is a night video recording for both devices, and Vivo is recording using the ultra wide camera, just to be because when I'm recording using the main sensor 1.5 or 35 millimeters, I'm too close to the phone and it's not okay. Now I will start running just to test the stabilization of both devices in night video recording conditions. And now stop running. Now I will switch the Vivo to 1.5x just to test it. And now Vivo is recording using the main sensor 1.5x, which I think is the better one. Even they are similar, but I think the better one, the better optimized sensor is the main 1.5x. And look at the street light, guys, they are very important. Street lights are very important because they are messing the night HDR. And let's rotate the cameras, not pointing directly at me. Just look at the sky. It's not complete dark, that's why it is not pitch black. From what I can see on the viewfinder, I'm pointing directly to the street lights because just to check which device is handling better the lens flare. And from what I can see on the viewfinder, iPhone is focusing faster, but Vivo is with a slower focus. You can see the lens flare when I'm closing the street light. Definitely iPhone is doing a better job, but when Vivo is focusing, it is better for sure. Again 4K 60 FPS, but this time night video recording. Just look at the street lights again. Let's run a little bit to test the stabilization because I'm shaking my hands that way. And which is better, just let me know down in the comments. Okay, let's start with photos. And you can see on the left side is Vivo X200 Ultra, on the right side is iPhone 16 Pro Max. You can see that from here, this is the info. I can also include a histogram, but I think it's not necessary. The first image, which is using the ultra wide camera, you can see we don't have very much sun this day, but conditions are I think they are perfect to testing the HDRs and everything, because we have a lots of clouds and sun behind them. Let's start from the colors. Again, Vivo is using Zeiss natural color profile, and I think this is the closest to reality. iPhone is using its default profile. None of the picture is corrected after it's taken, so it is everything is by default. And let's start zooming a little bit so we can see, you can see the grainy mess is starting here with the iPhone. But let's zoom a little bit more, and again the quality is similar for such a high zoom, but something closer, for example here, and from that you can understand, of course, the sensor here on the Vivo is the same as the main sensor, so in theory it should be very good quality. And of course it should be even better from the iPhone. If we zoom here on that area, on that street light, you can see that rust is way more visible and with less grain coming from the Vivo. And this is the next picture, which is from the same place, but this time we are using the main sensor of the iPhone, and again main sensor from Vivo 35 millimeter. The iPhone is around 24 millimeter, I think. That main sensor 1x, here it is 1.5x, but anyway, let's compare the quality. Before, in my previous video where I compare Vivo X200 Ultra, Xiaomi 15 Ultra and Oppo Find X8 Ultra, everyone started blaming me why you are cropping the pictures from Oppo and Xiaomi comparing to the Vivo, and this time I won't do this.
I will directly compare pictures. They are 35 millimeters again to 24 or 23 it was on the iPhone. So if we zoom, this is a lot of zoom. I will not go so much zooming, but from that position you clearly can see that the picture from the Vivo is more readable. Of course, the sensor of the Vivo is way bigger, but look at the tiles on that house. Just look at it. Here it's not perfect, but it is understandable. But here it is not even understandable. That's a house or whatever it is. And if we zoom here further, you can understand some details here on the Vivo, but you cannot understand anything on the iPhone. On that area, what's the difference? And yes, just the results are brutal against the iPhone. Nothing to say here. Again, look at the colors. This time I am not sure. The darker image is always coming from iPhone. This is by default. It's always shooting a little bit darker, and you can see even Vivo is using the Zeiss natural profile. It is trying to punch the colors a little bit. Green is more greener and the tiles on the house are more reddish. Always it's trying to push the colors, and even the HDR here on the sky is I'm not sure which is better. Keep in mind both pictures are taken at the same time with a difference of 1 or 2 seconds, so the clouds should be the same, but I think they are more recognizable here on the iPhone. Maybe that's an AI, but look at that area. It is understandable, from the more understandable, that light trail here than the one on the Vivo, but everything else on the Vivo is better. Look at that shadow. Look at the Vivo and look at it at the iPhone. iPhone completely crushed everything here on the shadow, and look what Vivo did here. It is understandable, and you can see even more trees here. We have a car here on that area, and you cannot understand nothing from the iPhone. So that's a win for the Vivo. Definitely it's a win for the Vivo. And this is a picture taken with the next telephoto sensor of the Vivo, which is 85mm, or this is 3.7x. And with the iPhone I'm trying to match the same zoom level of 3.7, 3.8, so we can compare better the pictures. Yes, I know the iPhone is still not using its telephoto sensor here, but I will just compare it, and with the next picture I will go for the 5x, which is directly where the place where the iPhone is using its telephoto sensor. This image is more comparable. This is 5x of the iPhone and 5x on the Vivo. It's a little bit crop on the Vivo, but considering that big sensor, it should not be a big deal. And now we can read what's written on that sign from the iPhone. Even it's using its telephoto sensor, it is start here that graininess is already starting. But let's zoom out and go for the tiles again. It is way more understandable now on the iPhone and way better. Something else, let's check for the shadows here, for example, on that area. But to be honest, the iPhone picture is not bad. I like it. It's doing a very good job, even considering the fact that it has a very small sensor, telephoto sensor, but it is doing a very good job. And look here, that area. Look this. If we are not zooming so much, I can even say that the picture on the iPhone is preferable. At that position, 5x, I prefer the picture coming from the iPhone. And look here on that bike lane. It is way reddish on the Vivo. It is better on the iPhone. If you zoom too much, yes, the view is better, not so grain, but at that point I prefer the picture coming from the iPhone. This is the next picture, which is 10x, and here I'm comparing again both devices. No, not much of a lenses here to compare, this is just a crop. But if we zoom, of course, the better, the more readable part is here on the Vivo. But I think it's a fake part. Look at these leaves on the tree. It is AI, complete AI. Yes, here it's grain, but at least it's not so AI-ish. Look at this. This just not look realistic. And this image is 25x, which is the maximum for the iPhone. And I just put the 25x on the Vivo, just we can compare them better. And not to say much for that picture, it's definitely better on the Vivo. Yes, again, it's AI-ish, but I prefer it because it's more visible, more smooth, more visible, because the idea of so much zoom is just to create a picture which you can understand the object and everything around it, and definitely Vivo is doing here the better job. And this is the image from the Vivo and its maximum zoom, which is 105x. This is maximum Vivo can go, and iPhone is still the same image because the maximum is 25x. Yes, it's AI, but it is understandable. That's the idea of so much zoom. This is a picture, a macro picture taken with both devices, and Vivo, you can see it is using its telephoto HP9 sensor because you have a special mode which is called super macro, and when you enable it, it is directly going to that 3.7 or 85mm lens. iPhone is using the ultra wide camera for taking macro shots, and it can go closer to the object, and you can see that. I think, I'm not sure, but I think the picture on the iPhone is even better. Let's point at the same location. Yes, I think the image on the iPhone is better. Let's go here on the center. This is a rust on that street light, and the details on the iPhone, I like them. I prefer them at that scenario. I'm not sure this is the best image to comparing macro, but I always say that iPhone is doing a very good macros if you can point it directly. Yes, Vivo is good, but again, look at the colors. This is, everything is yellowish, and definitely the street light, more close to reality colors are coming from the iPhone for sure. This is again a macro image, and this is here the part where the Vivo shines, and this super macro mode is enabled because it is using its telephoto sensor, and you can point it, look at that ant and these hairs on its ass. You just look at it. This is just brutal. Yes, iPhone is doing a very good shot, but the problem is you should go very close to the object, or the object in that case is the ant, and when you go so close, it's just scared and go away. That's why you cannot make the same shot as Vivo do, and for sure in this scenario Vivo is better for taking macro shots. When you enable the portrait mode for both devices, they are going directly. For example, iPhone is going for 2x and Vivo is going for 2.2x by default, and these are both images taken with these devices. And let's look at them, let's zoom at them, and which is doing a better portrait shot. More bokeh is coming from the Vivo, but considering the bigger sensor, that's expected. Let's zoom more, and the grain from the iPhone is starting directly. Yes, it's not looking good, but the object cutout is okay. But you can see we have some fake hue effect everywhere, around my my sweatshirt, around my ears here, just look at it, and even around my head, and the cutout here is not very good. And look at the Vivo shot, it is just unbelievable. Just compare. Yes, probably we have some AI here, but definitely this shot is really better than the one on the iPhone. Look at that cutout here and look at it here. Which is better? Obviously it is Vivo. Now this is a portrait mode using the 5x of the iPhone, and it is using this HP 9 or 3.7x on the Vivo. That's why the iPhone is closer to me and the Vivo is more away from me. But let's zoom. Just look, I have two hairs here on my ears, and look what Vivo did. Just look at it. This is brutal. I cannot believe they are still visible here on the iPhone, but it's trying to blur them, and this is unbelievable. Look at that. Look at that. Just compare it. That's unbelievable quality coming from Vivo shot. Definitely this is a brutal shot coming from Vivo. Yes, probably Vivo again is trying to smoothen a little bit my skin, even all the beautify modes are disabled. But look at these small hairs, because I don't have enough hair on my head. That's why we are comparing the hair on my ears. But look at the shot, and the colors of the iPhone are not correct for sure. It is more reddish this time, so I'm a little bit confused. But just look at that shot. I prefer the Vivo one for sure. Now we are in the next scene. I will go faster through these images, but this is ultra wide shot from both devices, and you can see even that handle on my tripod. It's every time here, but this is it is what it is. Let's zoom a little bit here, because this will be the zooming area, and definitely when you zoom further, the degradation of the colors and the graininess, this smudgy picture coming from the iPhone is not good. So it is a win for the Vivo not to comment it. Okay, that's a shot using the main sensor of the both devices, and even from now I can, even the shot from the Vivo is a little bit zoomed. Look at the shadow, it's crushed here, that area on the iPhone. Look at it, it is completely crushed, and look it on the Vivo. What to say, guys? A bigger sensor matters at that point for sure. The colors again are punchy and more brightened from the Vivo for sure. Just look at that green. But I think the more true to life colors are coming from the iPhone. But if we put away the colors, the difference in colors, because everyone prefers something different, I think here Vivo nailed it. Now this is 5x image, and let's zoom, because this time I'm not sure I prefer the Vivo image. I think I'm preferring the iPhone image, and again that yellow tint all over the image coming from Vivo when you use that HP 9 sensor. And in fact, I will say something which probably most of the people will hate me about, but I think this sensor has that yellow problem for all the devices using it, and even Xiaomi 15 Ultra has the same problem when it starts using HP 9. Here we can see the same for the Vivo. Every time it is starting this HP 9, that yellow tint is all over the image. Even I'm using the Zeiss natural profile. Yes, the iPhone image is more colder, but I prefer it. It's close to reality. That's the reality, not this yellow part. Let's zoom at the sign, and here the AI, or no, it's not so AI-ish, just the bigger sensor. We have more details from the Vivo, but it is readable on the iPhone, and the colors are for sure. If we go a little bit further like this, definitely I prefer the colors and the image from the iPhone. Now this is 10x image, not much to compare here. Of course it will be better on the Vivo if we zoom more. And again, the iPhone at max zoom level, which is 25x, and look what Vivo is doing here. Same as my comparison with Xiaomi 15 Ultra and Oppo Find X8 Ultra. The image from the Vivo is very muddy and dark when you don't have enough light coming from the back, because this is a crop. And just look at it. Yes, here we miss that details, but again, colors are just true to life. And yes, this image is cropped on the iPhone, but I still think it's better even it's not so readable. Look at that dark image. What is this, Vivo? And this is an image taken with the main sensor of both devices, and this is a natural bokeh, natural separation of the object in front and the background. Yes, we have here some parts which are completely not good. You can see the bokeh is covered that area and it should not be covered, but the Vivo separate it better because the part of the tree or the bush which is in front is separated. Here iPhone is doing a mistake and this part should be in front of this part here, but still the image on the Vivo is darker. Another macro shot. Again, Vivo is using its super macro mode and iPhone is just using zooming level, and I think the more details are coming from the Vivo. Definitely here we have some smudginess, and believe me, I try to focus on the same place with both devices, but again that yellowish / reddish tint when you are using this telephoto sensor. And you can see we are 85mm or 3.7x, which is directly starting HP9 sensor, and we have that tint again yellowish / reddish. And just for comparison, this is a night shot using the front camera of both devices. What can I say? Definitely Vivo is doing a way better job, and probably this is because it is lighten up the screen of the device, so it's used like a flashlight. And now this is a ultra wide night shot. Look at the sky, it's not pitch black, that's why we can see the cloud, and just a very good shot. And this time Vivo to me nailed it. The yellowish image coming from the iPhone, I don't like it, but I prefer the image coming from Vivo. If we zoom a lot, of course it's not very good, but we have that hue around the light, and we have it here on the Vivo and on the iPhone. Now this is a night shot using the main sensor for both devices. You can see it, and now iPhone again is yellowish, but it's the iPhone night shot. Both of them are doing night shots automatically, but iPhone is taking more time to make that night shot. It is for 3 to 4 seconds, and Vivo make it faster, for example 2.5 seconds or something. That's why we have a little bit darker image on the Vivo, because it is not waiting so much time. But look at the street light. Look the details of the light here, they are completely missing from the iPhone. That's it. To me, this is the interesting image. This is 5x image for both devices. And iPhone is doing a very good job with its 5x telephoto sensor. I really like it. Here we have some artifact, probably something on the lenses. I cleaned them, but I'm not sure what this is. But again, if we zoom, you can see the street light. Now we have the details of the street light here, but completely blown out inside the street light. And here you can see the bulb of this street light. Vivo is definitely doing a better job, but when I compare Vivo with Xiaomi 15 Ultra and Oppo Find X8 Ultra, it falls behind them, but compared to iPhone, definitely better. That's a 25x, the max zoom for the iPhone and for the Vivo, and this time, no, it's not for the Vivo, it's way more zoom it can go, but I think this time at 25x, the image on the iPhone is better. Yes, not AI-ish image. You can see how it is just smoothen. The whole image and details are gone. On the iPhone, yes, we have some grain, but definitely we have more details on the image. Okay, again we are start counting here from ultra wide to the max zoom, and I'm this time on a different position. iPhone compared to Vivo. Night shot, ultra wide. Yes, Vivo one is more yellowish, more colder, is coming from the iPhone. If we zoom a little bit, I have a lot of street lights here and a lot of sign. That's why I position here. And this time, this ultra wide shot, I think is better on the iPhone. Yes, Vivo is trying to punch the colors here. Where we have some greenery, it is again making this colors. But this house here is look orange on the Vivo, and the color is more close to reality with the iPhone. And now we are using the main sensor for both devices, and look at the street light. I think the better job is coming from the iPhone. Yes, here it's complete mess on the iPhone, and look what Vivo did. Now we are talking. This is a 5x shot from both devices, and it's a slight crop from Vivo, but look here, Vivo is trying to punch the colors again, more close to reality colors are here, without so much artificial part on the iPhone, and a lot more grain. But I think the numbers here are more readable on the iPhone, even the image is more grainy. Yes, the numbers are more readable because the artificial part is not kicks in here when the numbers. Now this is a 10x image using both devices, and of course it will be better on the Vivo. But look again at the numbers. Very strange. The Vivo is smooth on everything here, and it's not understandable. Here it's a grainy mess, but more understandable. So which is better? Just tell me. You can tell me down in the comments. This is a 5x night portrait shot. iPhone always has that artifact here. I'm not sure why. Let's just zoom it and look at my face. iPhone is just not good. It's just not good. Yes, it's trying to be not fakeish or anything, but it's just not look at even the details on my jacket. What to say? Just the better portrait shot is coming from the Vivo, definitely. And this is around 2x portrait shot. I don't have this hair on my head for sure. This is just a complete fake. I'm not sure what Vivo are trying to do here, but this is just complete fake. iPhone is more graininess, more grainy image, but at least it's not fake. And the separation here, of course it is better on the Vivo, but it is way more fake. If you zoom so much, look at this. What is this, Vivo? Just what is this? This is one shot taken with the Vivo, which is a very good one. And guys, just don't forget, these videos took me a lot of time to create them, so don't forget to subscribe my channel, like my videos, and of course have a nice day.